friends, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to another video. You can probably tell from the title of the video, we are doing a reading wrap up. I'm going to talk all about the books that I read in the month of April and May. I'm going to do the 2 months together. I can't believe it's already June. It's Monday, so it's June the 2nd right now, which is crazy. If I sound a little stuffy, it's because I am. I don't know. I don't feel like I literally just had a cold, but I just feel very stuffy. So bear with me. It's also morning time. I'm filming this before my daughter wakes up for the day, so I'm hoping to get this filmed before she wakes up. So if I talk a little bit faster, that's why. So yeah, we're going to talk all about the books I read in the month of April. I have some physical, and then I read a lot on my Kindle as well. So for those ebooks, I will put a picture up as I talk about them. So I'm going to get out my handy dandy reading journal. I should probably be drinking tea, but I needed some coffee this morning. So I'm gonna get out my reading journal. This is how I track everything that I am reading. I don't do Goodreads or anything online. I wish that I did, but I just don't. So I just keep a very basic reading journal. This reading journal itself, it's from Clever Fox. There are a lot more prompts and a lot more things that you could go a lot deeper in your reviews. I just keep it very basic. I just do the title, the author, the genre, page count, when I finished it. It says year published, so I do write that. On one side it says it has some questions, the other side is just a blank page. So this particular one I did answer the questions, but a lot of times I just write my very basic thoughts on the blank page, do the title, and that's kind of it. If I want to go back and do some more, I can. There's also where you can write down all the books that you've read, and then also a section to write down books you've read by month. So this is what I'm going to go off of. I'm going to start with April, and we're going to go based on order of book that I read. Let's go ahead, jump right in. If you haven't yet, go ahead, grab yourself something cozy to eat or drink, and let's just dive in and talk about books. So the very first book that I read in the month of April is Sunrise on the Reaping. This is Haymitch's story. This is a Hunger Games, part of the Hunger Games universe. So yeah, this is Haymitch's story. So I knew that this was going to break me before I even got into it, and it really did. And it's funny because if you've read all the Hunger Games, like, you know how his games went, you know how everything ended with him. But even still, I kind of forgot all about it as I was reading it because you're just so invested in the story, meeting all the other characters, connecting all these dots from all the different stories from the Hunger Games. This was so good. I absolutely loved this book so much. It's definitely heartbreaking, but it was such a good story. Suzanne Collins is a wonderful storyteller, and I absolutely loved this one. Very nostalgic for me. Hunger Games came out when I was in high school, so I loved reading them then and then watching all the movies. So it's definitely a very nostalgic series for me, so I absolutely loved this book. Next up, I read The Selection by Kiera Cass. I have yet to finish the rest of the books in the series. This is definitely young adult. It says The Bachelor meets Hunger Games. I think more so in the other series probably, or the other books. This one I didn't find Hunger Games really part of it, but The Bachelor, yes. So we're following a main character, America, who is in love with her, friend. He kind of encourages her to put her name in to be part of the selection to win the heart of the prince. It's just kind of something that they do. It's supposed to be kind of futuristic. It's exceptionally young adult, but it was so cute. I had a good time with it. I know that this is definitely like 2010, 2012 young adult, and I know I would have loved it even more when I was that age. I don't even know how old I would have been in high school, probably. I loved this one. So I'm excited to read the rest of these. I haven't yet just because they are very young adult, but I did have such a good time with this one, so I do want to read the rest of them in the series. There's only 2 more. I think there are a lot of other novellas and like spin-offs and stuff, but as far as the like original trilogy, there's just 3 of them. Yeah, I did enjoy this one for sure. Then I'm going to put up a picture of it on my Kindle. I read Powerless by Lauren Roberts. Now, this one came out a couple of years ago. It blew up. It was so popular. The author is very young, which I thought was very cool that she could write a book. And everyone was saying it was like a fantasy version of Hunger Games. And so that actually put me off from wanting to read it, because anytime someone tries to copy the Hunger Games, I'm like, just leave the Hunger Games alone. It was original. Stop like plagiarizing what she did or copying her. Like, create your own idea. But I finally gave myself permission to read this book. I was like, you know what, just read it. So I had a good time with it. In this one, it is fantasy. We're following a main girl, Peyton. She lives in a world full of powerful people, and she is powerless. So those who don't have power are basically killed. Like that, they're not welcome in society. They're thought to bring diseases and weaken those with power. So she grew up, and her dad taught her how to be like a psychic, and that was her fake power. So she could read people, and she used that as her like power. So people thought she did have her power, in reality she didn't. So it's kind of how she survived. So I'm actually currently reading another series that we're going to talk about in a little bit, and I think this other series does the psychic abilities so much better than Powerless. I feel like with Peyton and Powerless, her psychic abilities weren't really touched upon, and they were just very convenient. So I had a good time with this, and I liked it enough to continue the series. So then I read Reckless. So this is book 2, and I did not like this one as much. It felt very redundant, repetitive. There were a lot of other worlds and lands within the world, and I was very excited that we would touch on these other lands, but we were only in there for such a short amount of time. We didn't really learn the other parts of the world. So I was kind of disappointed in that. It isn't enemies to lovers, and so the whole second book was like, I love you, but I can't have you because we're not supposed to be together. And I don't know, just the whole book felt kind of unnecessary in a way, especially looking back on it. Like during it, I was like, oh, this isn't interesting. It's a fun time. But looking back, it's kind of like, that wasn't so good. Those are the books I read in April. Moving on to May, I picked up Fearless. This is the third book in the trilogy, third and final. And I did not like this one until there's like one chapter at the very, very end. It's not the epilogue. It's a chapter right before the epilogue. It's like 5 years later. I loved that chapter so much because I related so much to having kids with the love of your life, and there's just a lot of things that really touched me in my heart, and that's why I loved that chapter so much. But the rest of the book was just not good. How the second book ended, it leaves you on this cliffhanger, and then the third book happens, and you're kind of like, you kind of know who. I don't want to give anything away because I think the twist wasn't very twisty. I definitely guessed it, but there were a lot of people that didn't, so I don't want to give anything away. But I know that a lot of people were exceptionally disappointed with the third book. I did not like it until that very final chapter, and it was like 600 pages of kind of nothing and almost kind of like cringy. Some of the characters I didn't love. So it was not the best conclusion to the trilogy. That's okay. The author is very young, and I could definitely see how she took a lot of liberties by copying a lot of very popular books. Some books that I hadn't read, that others had read, were able to connect even specific sentences to these other books. So she definitely copied. So that is kind of upsetting because it wasn't very original. So anyways, I read that trilogy, the Powerless trilogy. You could probably read the first one and be done with it. Obviously, the romance isn't concluded until the final book. So if you want to get closure and conclusion to all the stories, you'd have to read the whole trilogy. I feel like with this one, it's kind of a take it or leave it. If you have extra time on your hands, you don't care about young adult, cringy, plagiarism type of books, go for it. So the next book I read is Finlay Donovan is Killing It. I absolutely loved this book. This was so fun. It's so cute. It's kind of a murder mystery in a way. She is a struggling single mom writer. She is on deadlines for these books that she just can't figure out how to write. She's struggling with money. She's struggling with trying to keep her kids. Her ex-husband is wanting to take full custody. So she's just really struggling in life. So she is I think she's a mystery author or something. And someone overhears her conversation and mistakes her for a hitman and offers her this exorbitant amount of money. So things just happen, and she just gets like thrust into this mystery, and people start getting killed, and she's like, I'm not killing these people. So she's trying to figure out like who it is. There's slightly a love triangle. It doesn't get concluded in here. She kind of chooses one, but it does leave space for, in future books if she were to choose the other guys. I'm very excited to read the sequel. I did recently pick up the second one, so I'm excited to continue with this series, but highly recommend. Loved this one. Next book I read, Crown of Midnight by Sarah J. Maas. I decided to slowly continue my Throne of Glass. First time reading the series. I know if I had read these in high school, which is about the time when it came out, I would have absolutely devoured the series. And even as a 30-year-old mom, I am absolutely loving the series. It's so much fun. So yes, I read Crown of Midnight. This is the second one after Throne of Glass. So I read Assassin's Blade, then Throne of Glass, and then Crown of Midnight. So in Crown of Midnight, we are kind of following the aftermath of her winning the King's Championship in the first one. And I don't think that's a spoiler. I hope it's not a spoiler. Yeah, we're just kind of following her as she is now the King's Champion and trying to figure out a lot more things that have happened, a lot more things going on with the King, and a little bit of, the first one had a little bit of the love triangle, like who she's gonna pick. I loved the love interest in this one. Loved him. I know people don't like him, and I'm curious as a series go if I'm going to like him. I will say I think I do know who she actually ends up with because I did read that character in the next book, so we'll segue into that one, which was Heir of Fire. So in this one, I think the guy in here is the love interest, and I love him. I just loved their whole dynamic. I think it's so just really cool. So Air of Fire, we're kind of taking to a whole other land and learning more about our main character's lineage and the things that are actually happening in the current kingdom and the world, and how the king has these dark powers, and just trying to figure out all the mysteries and everything like that. I'm just speaking very vaguely because I don't want to give anything specific away with this series, but I absolutely loved this one. I loved the journey that Selena went on, the like self growth that she went from the beginning to the end. I really loved this one. This is definitely my favorite of the series so far. It's also the last one that I read. I need to read the next one, which is Queen of Shadows. I haven't started it yet, but I absolutely I loved this book so much. So I'm excited to continue with the rest of the series. After I read Air of Fire, I read Silver Elite by Jamie Francis. I couldn't help it. Everyone was talking about it. Everyone was saying it's the next new dystopian. I grew up reading, not grew up, but dystopian was my high school. I know when I was in high school, there were a lot of amazing books. The Maze Runner, Hunger Games, Divergent, all of those books I just devoured reading. Those are my books. I loved them. So when this new book was dystopian, which is a completely different genre than romantasy, which is very popular right now, I was very excited to read this one. So this book, we are following our main girl who is a mod, and she is in a world where there should not be magic, and she does have magic. It's not magic because it's dystopian, okay? She has some powers where she can do telepathy, and she discovers that she has other additional powers that are very dangerous in this world. A series of events happen where she gets recruited into this program where she's basically trained. It's kind of like a college where you're trained to be these like elite soldiers, and then her goal is to get into the Silver Elite, which is like the best of the best. And so of course she goes there. But there is a huge romance. It's kind of spicy. There's definitely some explicit scenes in this, and the romance was, I was like, what is everyone talking about? Everyone was like loving this guy. I was like, no. First of all, I think he's 22 and she's like 18, but it reads as a adult, and it read as a romantasy, a very popular tropey romantasy that everyone's reading these days, but set in a dystopian world. So the world was not at all fleshed out. You did not learn more about anything. There was one scene where she gets taken back into these black lands that she grew up in for years, where her uncle like helped her, and it was just such an interesting concept that I wish they had talked even more about that, because that was it could have been really cool. I guess you could probably tell my feelings. I did not like this book at all. I thought it was very poorly written. It read as a 12-year-old had written it, but with very adult themed content. I did not like the romance. The very end, there is someone that comes back. I don't want to say who it is. I did not see that coming, so that was a fun surprise. But I'm hoping that is the one that she has a romance with in the next books. I doubt it, because I doubt it, but I'm like, that would be cool if she actually had a romance with that guy, because I actually liked that guy. So I doubt that is going to happen. But I did not like the love interest at all, and he's supposed to be 22, so on the one hand it kind of felt like he was like this 30-40-year-old commander, but I'm like, wait, he's 22 and she's 18. It was different. So I was definitely very disappointed in that book. I was actually going to purchase it because I was so excited to read it, and I'm glad that my library, the copy came in, so I didn't have to end up buying it, and I'm so glad that I didn't. It was just so tropey, and it was not dystopian in any way other than there wasn't magic, but like all these powers, I don't know, it was interesting. So okay, moving on, I read Fatal, a Fixer Upper. This is a cozy mystery. I got this at a library book sale. I thought this was really cute. This did not take long to read at all. I love a good cozy mystery. We are following Avery, who inherits her late great-grandmother's house. Something happened to her great-grandmother that she is wondering if it actually was old age or was it murder. So she gets kind of put on this, path of figuring it out. She's getting all these, death threats, and she teams up with the guy her handyman, who is helping redo her great-grandmother's house. So very cute, very typical cozy mystery, but I really liked that one. Then I read The Geographer's Map to Romance. This is the second book in India Holton's. It's not a series, they're kind of like interconnected standalone. So the first one was The Ornithologist's Field Guide to Romance, or Love. The Ornithologist's Field Guide to Love, which I loved that one so much. I love her writing. It's so cute and it's so funny. It's very easy to miss the humor, but if you're paying attention, you will get it, and it's so funny. So in the first one, The Ornithologist's Field Guide to Love, it is the male main character's cousin in the second one. So in the second one, the geographers map to romance. It is a marriage of convenience. So they married a year ago for a convenient reason, and that reason kind of fell through. So a couple days after their marriage, they're like, okay, bye. Basically, of course, there was some miscommunication. The whole thing was miscommunication because she would read his face and go, oh, it's disgust on his face. He hates me. And then he's like, oh, I love her, but I can't show her. So very, very, very basic miscommunication, but it was so funny and so cute. I really love this one. So if you haven't read these books, I highly recommend. If you've read the Emily Wilde books, they are pretty similar as far as like, you know, cozy, kind of fantasy. Like there's magic and fantasy in these worlds, but that's not the main focus. It's definitely romance, relationship forward, and then the plot is kind of what's helping them build their romance. So don't read it for the plot, but it is such a cute book. So yeah, they're kind of similar to the Emily Wilde book, but just a little bit more cozy and whimsical and so cute. So definitely loved this one. And then the very last book that I read in the month of May is The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. So this book, I am, spoiler on the third book right now, I am loving the series so much. So I actually read this one, The Naturals. I read it a couple of years ago and I liked it okay, and for some reason I just never continued on with the series. So I saw this at a little free library, so I picked this up and read it that day and absolutely loved it. So this is young adult and it's blurbed as Criminal Minds for young adult, and that is so true. I actually love the Criminal Minds show. I got so many seasons into it and then it just got pretty dark and it was a little bit too much for me, so I stopped watching it. But I do love that. I love the psychology behind, you know, why people do what they do basically. And this one, yeah, it's young adults. We're following our main character Cassie. In this first one, she gets recruited into the super secret FBI program for, you know, there are 4 other kids. Yeah, there's 5 total, right? Yeah, there's 5 total. So there are 4 other kids in this program. They're all 17 years old. They're all naturals at some ability. So she's a natural profiler, so she can look at people and figure out, you know, who they are, you know, not really a mind reader, but she's very good at profiling them. There's one other profile. There's I can't think of, I don't remember what her, I should know because I'm on the 3rd book now, but one of the other girls is very into statistics and numbers and everything like that. There's another one who is like a lie detector. She knows when people are lying or telling the truth. And then there's like an emotion reader, so we can read people's emotions on their face. So they all work together initially to start on cold cases, and then, you know, they do kind of wiggle their way into real cases going on. So highly recommend this series. It's so much fun. This is kind of what I was thinking when she is a kind of psychic. She actually was raised by her mom to be a psychic, to, you know, con people out of money basically by pretending to be a real psychic. And I really loved this because the author actually, I think she, well, I don't remember her schooling, but she did like her PhD in psychology, or she did something. She has advanced degrees in psychology, psychiatry, and cognitive science, and just got her PhD at Yale. So this author is very smart. She knows what she's talking about, and she does the psychic ability so well that I wish Powerless had done. but that's okay. This was such a good book. I loved it. Like I said, I'm on the 3rd one now. I had to go out and buy the other 3 because there's 4 total. I loved this whole series. It was so much fun. I know it's been out for a long time, and I did read her new series, which was not all of it. I only read, well, I don't think it'll be in here because it's before then, but it was the Inheritance Game. So I think I read the first, maybe the 2nd one. I didn't finish up with that series. I think my sister read it too. I thought it was fun. I'm loving this series so much. So yeah, I'm on the 3rd one already. Having a good time with this series. All right, my friends, so those are all the books that I read in the month of April and May. Let me know if you've read any of these, or if any of them sound interesting to you. I'd also like to know if you read the Powerless trilogy or Silver Elite. Those are 2 very popular books, and I'd love to know your opinions and your thoughts about those. That's gonna be it for today's video. I will see you in the next one. Bye.